here. Welcome everybody, Dirty Fantasy Sports. We are trying out some audio issues and trying to work through some of those audio things right now, so just bear with us while we do that. All right, Johnny, I'm going to check this out here.
All right.
Right, give me a second. All right, let's see how this sounds here. Let's see. We'll just chit-chat here for a second and try this thing out.
All right, sounds good on that end. I can hear you in the background, so that's a good thing.
I think we're doing all right.
All right, sounds like a plan. Let's get to.
All right, let's just roll with it.
Get to it, man.
And all right, so welcome everybody to Dirty Fantasy Sports. We are going to be streaming, weekly, and we would appreciate if you want to follow us on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Tonight we'll be streaming straight from Twitch, and we think we're streaming on Facebook right now, but this is a new experiment for us. We'll find out later if we did or not. But you can you'll always be able to catch us on Twitch. That's going to be our home.
Where the money's at.
Today we are going to do a little bit talking about some daily fantasy with some advice around the games that are kicking off here shortly, or tipping off, I should say, because it's basketball season. Then we're going to transition over to some NBA All-Star, talk about the voting and that kind of fun stuff. Go into a little NBA TopShot, which is a passionate spot for both Johnny and myself. And then we're going to end it tonight with a little special, with a little TopShot pack opening, so that we can do that. But first, we're going to kick off. Let's kick off with talking about through some daily fantasy, some NBA. We got 4 games on tonight, Johnny.
Yeah. Checking them out, man. So really 2 games that really jump out, man. Brooklyn, Golden State. Yeah. No, it's basically a bona fide all-star game, with respect for both teams, because there won't be a lick of defense played tonight. It won't be a lick of defense. It's 227, it looks like 226 implied total, so it's going to be a lot of buckets there. And then you got the Pacers and you got the Hawks coming in at 222 implied total. So those are really the 2 games, man, I'm trying to get the most exposure to. I think that's just kind of the consensus. Around anybody that's playing any type of DFS, man. So yeah. These one of your spots, man. Brooklyn, what's up? What's up,
man? We got KD going back too tonight.
Yeah.
You know what is probably the most interesting thing about DFS tonight is that we have 4 guys in the $10,000 range between Durant, Trae Young, Harden, and Curry. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. And as you know, when you got that kind of money going on in DFS, that really changes up how you pick the rest of your lineup. So, I'm interested to see is there a 10,000 guy you would pick, and if it is, are you going with that 10,000 guy and another 10,000, or are you going with the 10,000 guy and a couple nickels along the way?
For me, man, just being straight, KD's the guy for me. Like, I don't think there's any question about it. He's the guy. Ownership, that's another part of the game is ownership. And, like I said, just flat and simple, KD's my favorite play on the entire slate, bottom line, in the discussion. And then, like if you're talking about, hey, like which direction do I want to go next? It's tough, man, because like you want to go Steph because he's been crushing lately.
Yeah.
But I was just trying to look to see, like, what is Steph's numbers versus Kyrie? Like over the course of his career, because it seemed like Kyrie gives Steph that work is what it seems like. So I'm gonna go a little bit contrarian tonight, and I'm probably gonna pony up and go just load up on the Brooklyn side, man. There's DeAndre Jordan tonight, so his rebounds to be had. Kyrie seems like no matter what, he's going to be putting it up no matter what if all three of them are there. But just a quick tidbit on all that with the 10,000. Dude, those guys have only played 6 games together, bro. 6.
Oh, that's
6.
facts.
Yeah.
And I got love for the Nets.
Yeah.
Knicks all day, every day. That's my number one. You know what I mean.
Fair enough.
But sometimes I cheat on them with the Nets. I like to watch the Nets. But Kyrie, when Durant's not in the game, Kyrie puts up some nasty numbers. But when Durant's in the game, kind of levels out, goes back down.
Yeah.
Obviously, they can't have 3 guys. There's not 3 balls there for all 3 of those guys to be slinging the rock around.
True story.
So I'm with you though. I agree with KD because for sure he is the man. He's the guy that runs the show. There's no doubt about it. Kyrie, I'm just not a Kyrie fan. Period. But when I look at 9,800 for him, or I could maybe bump up to Harden at 10-3, as a guard. I'll spend that money on Harden. I know Harden's going to chuck the ball. He's going to take shots. That's definitely happening. And he plays more minutes.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking at it from this standpoint, and this is always this is just one of my mottos just in life, man, when it comes to DFS. Any success that I had from the football side, sometimes, man, you got to fade the chalk. You got to fade the chalk, and I think, a lot of people, Kyrie's always going to be that third guy that people are going to go to. People are just naturally going to go to, to KD first, and then, I think just Harden just kind of, the recency bias of what he's done over the last handful of years by, being, probably one of the best fantasy players, if not the best fantasy player for the last, 3 to 4 years. So I think it's just natural just to kind of say, hey, I'm going to go with those 2 guys. So I think on a night like tonight where, Steph, hey, man, if he does put up, Kyrie's definitely going to put up too. But I just think from the ownership standpoint, it's a good opportunity to kind of create some leverage for myself on the field. And
that's a good question.
That's what I'm looking to do, man.
I know you. This is why you're here, man. You crush it on this stuff with the ownership. What is the ownership difference between a Steph, James Harden, and Kyrie? Is Steph the guy? He's the one everyone's picking?
Steph tonight, Steph is coming in about 26% owned. Kyrie's about 17%. And then Harden is coming in at 24%. So, it's not a huge difference. It's about 5%, but I think probably it's obviously the closer it gets to tip. Those numbers can obviously change. But on the point guard side of things, one of the other things that really kind of makes it kind of crazy is that there's great value out there tonight with John Wall at 7. He's at 7.5. He's going to be about 50% on. Malcolm Brogdon, he's going to be about 50% on at 7.2. And Malcolm Brogdon specifically, that game has got, a high implied total. And then John Wall, his usage is through the roof with no Victor Oladipo. Mm-hmm. So really, that's really where some of the value is going to be tonight in those places. But, that Brooklyn game, it's just for me, you can't get away from that game because there's no way there's not points in that game. So I said, forget it, man. I'm stacking it up, running it out. I'm running all Brooklyn players, all Warriors players, and letting the chips fall where they may. As far as any type of singles or anything like that, man.
Well, what's crazy? I'll tell you right now on again, not being a homer here, but with the Knicks, I'm not taking any Houston players unless it's a center or maybe Christian Wood. That would be it because and Wood's out.
I was about to say no Christian Wood. So it's the Boogie Cousins show tonight, baby. It's the Boogie Cousins show.
And the reason why, Cousins might not be bad either because Robinson's out too. I don't know if you saw last night. He fractured that hand.
My story on that one real quick. 25 cent entry, man, 20 entries. I have one lineup that's crushing it. And Mitchell Robinson is there. I was kind of in a rush. I was like, all right, we're just going to get him out there and call it good. Mitchell Robinson, 1% owned, man. And, he was crushing it. And he probably would have led me to a nice little piece of change last night if he didn't break his hand. But, so goes the world of DFS.
Oh man, it's it's crazy. As a Knicks fan, it's heartbreaking because I mean he's out for at least a month, and they're in the middle of making their first run for the playoffs in God knows how long. But what I was going to say about Cousins is centers that are good at rebounding and power forwards that are good at rebounding crush the Knicks for daily fantasy because the Knicks can't shoot. So there are rebounds that like Drummond had his 70-something point game against the Knicks, for daily fantasy. Vucevic, another one, crushed it on the Knicks. Miles Turner's crushed it against the Knicks. It's there. Cantor crushed the Knicks on it. All these guys because there's going to be a lot of rebounds out there. And with Robinson out at $6,200, Cousins might not be too bad. He might be a little sneaky play in there to slide in.
Oh, man, you're making me want to take a look at these lineups now that I got going on, man. What am I doing, man? Like, I got Miles Turner as my guy. I got Miles Turner as my center. He's the guy I really like a lot tonight as far as, like, the center position goes. And I think he's been a guy that, he definitely hasn't gotten the credit that he should deserve here, for the course of the year. And then, just looking at the Atlanta game, he's got Capella and he's got John Collins, and it's an up-tempo game. And Miles Turner, did you know that Miles Turner is actually leading the league in block shots? Miles Turner.
You know what? I actually am a huge Miles Turner fan. I was playing him a lot till recently, and I know you probably can't see my screen, but I'm pulling up here. This man has not dropped anything over 20 points since January 31st, except once he had a 50-point game against your boys Memphis. Other than that, he's been scoring under 30 points. Last game against Detroit, 29. The game before that against Brooklyn, 8. Game before that against Utah, 29. New Orleans, 23. Milwaukee, 14. He's just not putting up points like he used to.
It's the ownership game, man. It's the ownership, and it's the game, and that's where it's at. Is like you get caught chasing this sometimes, man. And I think this is always great conversation. And I think hey, like you bring up a great point about Boogie, man. Boogie has when there's been no Christian Wood, he's absolutely crushed the slate. And I think for me, just again, seeing like hey that tempo game, that's what it is. And then with Boogie, like the Knicks play at like one of the slowest paces in the league, so.
Yeah.
Up tempo, pace, like what are you choosing? And I think you all like I don't want to say always, but I'm always personally gonna go with the up tempo spot. Be interesting to see how it shakes out tonight for sure, man.
Yeah, I'm a tempo guy too. Unless it's a center against the Knicks because they just can't shoot.
Oh man, you better get some lineups in there, man.
Oh,
you better get some in there, bro.
I got a couple nickels in there. I'll be doing all right. Cool. All right. So we hit a couple centers. We talked a little bit of Durant. Talked a little bit about the wings. We talked a little bit about the guards. I wanted to hit up a couple wings here. We talked.
Yeah.
There's some good wings out there besides Durant. You got Jimmy Butler playing tonight against Utah.
Yep.
Bogdanovich is out there. Hunter is out, which that could open up some for some players like Herter. To get some extra space because Hunter's been killing it in Atlanta.
Yeah. No, Kevin Herter, he's nice, man. He's definitely nice. He's been a guy, the last handful of years that. You blink and, hey, he's dropped, 40 or 50 FanDuel points. Man, the guy can flat out stroke it again, man. Another great job by Atlanta, with some of the draft picks they had. And to your point, like, hey, you still got Kelly Oubre out there, who's also a part of that Brooklyn Golden State game. You got him. You got Joe Ingles, who's been shooting the lights out. So you got your boy RJ Barrett, So, again, like, just for me, Ryan, like, looking at ownership again, man, KD's the top guy, 33% at that position. And then, you start looking at Gallo and Ingles. And I get really nervous about having shooters like anywhere over 25% and like, any of like any type of max entry lineups that I put out, I get really nervous because if they have an off night, like you're screwed. Like you're screwed. You're screwed completely. And at the prices that they're at, like they're really, really great values. Gallo at 4,000, Joe Ingles at 4.9, but a guy like Kelly Oubre, man, I really like him again to circle back to that Brooklyn Golden State game. He's the guy that I really like, and Jimmy Butler, he has been on a tear since he has came back from the vid, man. He has been on a tear, and you just got to think, dude, at some point the bottom's gonna fall out.
Yeah.
The bottom's going to fall out for him. But maybe it's tonight because the Jazz, man, they've been hot. They've been playing great, man. They're one of the best teams in the league right now.
I think they're first place, aren't they? Man. I think they're first.
They may be, man. They may be. Let's see.
Yeah, they've been killing it lately. And Jimmy, too. You know what? Jimmy is a quiet 50-point guy in fantasy.
Yeah.
Because you watch the games, and he doesn't look like he's doing anything. At all.
Yep.
Like you're watching and you're like, man, when's Jimmy going to do something? And then before you know it, it's the fourth quarter and this guy's draining free throws to win the game. Stealing the ball, pulling up for a mid-range jumper, and putting in an extra 2 when they need it the most. It's crazy. Like, and then by the end of it, you look and he's got a triple-double.
That's him. He's a walk-in triple-double. And actually, man, the Jazz are number 1 in the West. They're 1 game up on the Lakers. So, and the Heat, they have, they've hit a rough patch, as of late. So I think, again, man, I'm not all in on Jimmy Butler like this. I'm definitely more of a Bam Adebayo guy for sure.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Butler, who knows, man? Like we talk about, ownership, and sometimes this happens to me in my process of things. I'll be like, oh yeah, like hey, like this is why. And hey, the ownership is there for Jimmy Butler. So really a place if you really want to get different on a slate like tonight, Jimmy Butler's the guy, man. He's definitely a guy to do that. But he's not my guy tonight.
Well, and you brought up Joe Ingles earlier, and I pulled him up here just to have him up as a visual here because I think one of the big things about Joe Ingles, and I know that you're going to say about the chasing. I know it's coming. I'm prepared for it. But he's been dropping 30 points like no one's business, and he's under $5,000. Like the last game against Milwaukee, 36. Against Boston, 35. Indy, he had a 20-point game, but before that, the game right before that in Charlotte, 32. Like for $4,900, that's a pretty good floor. Like you don't have to worry about him getting too far down.
No, you don't. And then you take a look at the at the log at who he played. Man, I think he had Boston on that. He had Boston on that list, which I don't know what the hell's going on with them. Milwaukee, they got them. Milwaukee will let you shoot threes. Indy, he had 20 there. And then you look at Charlotte, which Charlotte doesn't play any defense as well, 32-point spot. So I think you can really kind of tie some things in there, but. It's a shooter versus shooter matchup tonight, man, with him and Duncan Robinson. So, like, for all those people that really like Joe Ingles, like, hey, like if you want to get different, hey, flip it on the other side, run it back with Duncan Robinson, and hey, like, who knows? But I'm not chasing the Joe Ingles magic. Some guys, it's certain guys when I chase them, man, I get burned so bad, and you got to have a short memory, but I won't be. He's going to be in some of my lineups, obviously putting in 150, but he's not a guy that I plan on being over the field on for sure.
No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all on that one. All right, cool. So, you heard it here. My man Johnny says we go with Kevin Durant, load up on that Brooklyn Golden State game tonight, 8:30 tip-off on the East Coast. So late nights for us East Coast folks.
Yeah.
And if you're in for a slower pace, tune into the Knicks and watch them board you to death.
Man. Like, on the sneak, because I know, hey, we're trying to hit on them. Hey, 2 guards, Spider Mitchell, all day long, man, all day long for sure. Load up, get over the field on him, get over the field on Andy Wiggins as well. Jordan Clarkson is the guy. He's the guy at 4.7. I love him a lot more than I love Joe Ingles at that price because Jordan Clarkson, we've seen what he can do, man. So those are my 3 guys right there that I really like at the 2 guard spot, man.
Clarkson is been very good to me in daily this year. There's been a couple times when the floor falls out on him, but when he's hitting his shot, you can't get a better bargain. Can't get a better bargain. Nope. Oh man, he's like Lou Williams of last year. You just hit it just right with that price, and he's dropping 40 on it, and you're like, woo, okay, I'll take that. So yeah,
I got to throw this out there. Where the hell has Lou Williams been all year? Like,
I know.
Anyway,
well, that's why I said last year.
Last year, yeah. Lemon pepper Lou.
Yeah, yeah. He has not done anything close to what he's done the past couple of years. There's no Sixth Man of the Year awards in his future. I don't see that happening.
No.
But yeah, no. All right, cool. So I think let's transition over to speaking a little bit more about NBA. Talk about some NBA All-Star voting. What do you think about that? Because first, let me kick off. Do you think the All-Star game is a good idea? Because I know your favorite player there, Bron. He's not really excited about this. I'll tell you that.
No, he's not excited about it, and I think just from the perspective of him, like, of what he's been through over the last, handful as far as as far as the bubble and things like that in the short turnaround, and then to have it in all places, Atlanta, like not to go like any kind of way, but like, Atlanta's wide open. Like it's wide open down there. And like, I think like if you're talking about really protecting players and, and making sure that, the games happen, that's definitely not the place that you would want to have it at. I think they really should have considered something, about bringing it to a place that really had a little bit stricter COVID protocols for people, out and about. I think if they did, I think it'd be a little bit better for sure.
But Johnny, the chicken wings are good at Magic City, I've heard.
Listen, hey man, but that's the thing with my guy though, man. Is he's about that life, but he knows when to be about that life. And this is like he's still chasing that ghost, and he realizes that like Brooklyn's trying to do a little something here with what they got cooking. Boston, they got what they got. The Clippers as well. Like we can't forget about them. We just talked about the Jazz. I think like Bron, he's in it to try to get 6, like, or more than 6, and I think that's bottom line in the discussion. But I can't blame him on how he feels about not wanting to do it. Because
not at all.
Like the whole mystique. One of the biggest mystiques about the All-Star game for me is like all the celebs and stuff that you see, like just the presence of everybody that's there, and like essentially to have an All-Star game in a best case scenario half filled arena. Yeah. Like it just I don't know. It takes away from it, man. I think the NFL, like the Pro Bowl sucks anyway, and like they scrapped it. They said, hey, why are we gonna do this? And so like I even seen something too where they were like possibly looking at doing the dunk contest at halftime. Yeah. In the All-Star game, and I'm like, dude, like, do you really want to just destroy the All-Star weekend? Because one of the worst dunk contests in memory for me is when they put the freaking timer on for people. It's like, dude, like, what are you? Oh God! But I'm with Bron, man. Like, I'm not really feeling it. I'll watch it because I'm a fan and I love it. But I think this is not the year, man.
Well, I don't even know how are they gonna get all the gold diggers and thoughts in the front row. I mean. They have the most to lose, but if they don't have an All-Star game, is the Thought Patrol. They have the most to lose. There's so many baby mamas that won't be made this year if they have no All-Star game.
And Atlanta is like that. Atlanta is one of those places. Like like straight up, like that's not it, man. That's not it. Like. I gotta believe
that the NBA has a deal with the U.S. government on taxes for child support and such like that. That they know if this is a down year for baby mamas on luxury tax for millionaires, we got a deficit to beat. That's what we got going on.
Loving hip hop Atlanta, baby. Loving hip hop Atlanta.
Do it for the country.
Love and hip hop Atlanta, bro. Like I can't. Oh man, like it just. It pains me, man. It pains me. But,
right.
but like the voting, man. I know that's what we wanted to talk about, and when we look at the voting, dude, like obviously, man, Bron and KD are leading the way, which I don't think there's, that's any shock to anybody.
Well, let's see. I'm gonna pull it up. I got a nice graphic here, right from the NBA webpage. Let's talk about let's go from west to east, because the east I think is where there's more talk around who's in, who's out. The west is pretty much set, except for a couple. So front court, who you think for starting in the front? Obviously LeBron.
Yeah, I mean I voted already. I voted a couple times, and my votes were Bron, Jokic, AD, Luka.
So you went with AD. We'll pause there for a second.
Yeah.
Because I understand Anthony Davis is an absolute monster when he wants to be. I don't think this has been his year. This is me. I'm gonna throw it out there. I know this is gonna be a super unpopular vote. I personally have not voted for Anthony Davis or Paul George. Haven't done it. I've thrown in a couple votes too, because I just don't think they're doing what they normally do. I look at like a guy like Christian Wood when you're looking at Anthony Davis and what he's meant for his team too, and what he's doing for that group in compared. But I guess you could talk about minutes too, right? AD's minutes are down, and he's still putting up, 23 points and rebounds, and
But to be devil's advocate on that, like outside of today, because we just said the Jazz are number one. Like it's one game.
True.
Like the LA Lakers are the best team in the league, and I think that definitely means something. And I would even say, dude, like you said, hey, like I wouldn't vote for Paul George. I think Paul George has actually had a pretty nice season. I wouldn't vote for him as a starter, but I think obviously you're more likely than not he'll end up there. I think he's had a pretty solid season.
Yeah.
He's bounced back, and he's always been a really good player for sure. But I think I think he's definitely bounced back from that terrible bubble experience that he had. But I mean, in all reality, if we're looking at Paul George, AD, Christian Wood, those guys, like who's probably the most deserving of that third spot is probably Kawhi Leonard, honestly, because he's actually played games. The Clippers are, they're still relevant. He's been playing on the back-to-backs. And I think last year just got really blown out of proportion with the load management and things. And Doc Rivers he blew it. Like he blew it. But Kawhi Leonard is still, one of the 3 to 5 best players in the league. Still,
without a doubt,
down, for sure.
So for this, as I agree with you, I'm gonna have on here LeBron, Jokic, and Leonard as the front court.
Okay.
For this,
all right.
Let's talk backcourt, because this is where it gets crazy. Because there's only 2 guards, and the guards are dirty. Like, and I'm with you. I picked Luka as well, and I had picked Lillard was my other one. Were the 2 I went with. You said Luka, and who did you say?
This was 2 weeks ago I voted, and I think 2 weeks ago this vote now is definitely not as popular. It's definitely not popular, in regards to where we're at now. It's no shocker. But I went with Ja. He was the second guy that I went with. Yeah, but 2 weeks ago it's different because Steph hadn't crushed it the way that he had. Dame is always worthy of that spot, and I think no matter what, Dame is always going to get overlooked just because of the group of guards that that are always there in the Western Conference. And then you got Donovan Mitchell, and then even if you want to take it a step further, you got Devin Booker too, man. So it is jam packed in that spot, man.
I can tell you, I definitely wouldn't vote for Devin Booker. I think Devin Booker is an absolute monster of a talent, right?
Right.
But I think he's not having to do as much playmaking this year now that CP3's there. He doesn't play that great a defense anyway. And then if you look at his field goal percentage, it's actually it has it on here. He's 34% field goal percentage. So he's averaging 23 points a game, field goal percentage of 34%, and I got somebody like Damian Lillard who's 29 points a game and 46% field goal percentage. That's filthy. Like that's not even a contest.
And this is what I'd say, man, is this right here. And I think this is always the interesting conversation just about the All-Star votes and the All-Star game and who makes it and who doesn't. The Devin Booker that made the All-Star game, was playing on a terrible team and he had to do everything.
Yeah.
So now, like, hey, obviously they're a better team, and we kind of touched, we talked about it, we've talked about it before, just about what Chris Paul means to, to every team that he plays on. And like, so yeah, like there's going to be a little bit of regression there, but I think for me, like, and again, like I'm not making a case one way or another. I think, I think he should be there as far as an all-star. I'm not saying as a starter, but I think anytime, you got a guy that can throw up 70 or 80 on a night.
Oh yeah. No, talent-wise, he's there, right?
Yeah.
It's talent-wise. You could make a case for him, Alexander, Mitchell. Like you could make a case for any of those guys. C.J. McCollum, who was absolutely tearing it up until he got hurt. Then
you got the bald eagle on there, dude. I'm looking at this. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
These guys, they can play. But I think starter-wise, though, I think it is between Luka, Lillard, and Curry. Like, between those three, who are the starters? You know what I mean? Like, those guys, but all three of them are having monster years and doing basically everything for their teams. That's a tough one.
Devil's advocate. Spider Mitchell can't get no love.
Oh, hey, and I love Donovan Mitchell. I love him.
Man,
I do.
Dude.
But when you look at like your boy Mike Conley, it's been a whole different team because of him. He has balanced that offense. And so like I think, Mitchell again, an unbelievable talent. But when I compare his output and what he's doing compared to a Steph Curry or a Lillard or a Doncic, I don't know how you do it. I just don't know.
No, those three guys are they're the reason why their teams are even in the places that they're in, for sure. And I'm definitely not going to disagree with that. I just think it's always just good, healthy conversation because
listen to this. Let me just call this out. Okay, 28.5 points a game, 9.4 assists, 8.7 rebounds, and a 54.1 field goal percentage. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's Luka.
Yeah.
And let's compare that. We'll talk through Mitchell real quick. 24 points a game, 5.2 assists, 4 rebounds, and a 37 field goal percentage. Like those aren't even backup numbers compared to Luka.
No, man. Like that's
crazy.
That's so crazy. That's what's wild about this is like every year it's a lot of the same conversation. It's like, hey, like, is it the numbers or hey, is it, the impact that they're having on the team? Like, what is it? And I think it's got to be, some kind of balance. But I think obviously, man, Luka and Steph are, hands down the two guys that should be there for guards in the West.
All right, well, let's pick those two. Because I could, I got love for Damian Lillard. I'll sit here and argue for him all day long.
But this is how this is what happens with him, though. I know. This is what happens, man.
Where does the MC part come in? I mean, I don't think Steph can spit bars like Dame. All right, let's.
Oh my God! No, he can't. Oh my God!
All right, now let's go to the East, where I think this is a lot tougher in the East.
Woo!
We'll start in the front court. For me, I think you got Embiid, who's having an MVP caliber year. It's kind of he's a given, right? You got KD, who, if the NBA didn't jip him out of games, he's having pretty damn close to the next best year next to Embiid, and he's the comeback player of the year. Like,
easily.
I don't think you can leave him off.
Easily.
And now's where it gets fun, because you got Giannis. How do you say no to Giannis, right? But I don't think he's having the best year for a Giannis, for a returning two-time MVP. The guy Devin Booker said it the other day by himself. oh, Giannis has the ball, we'll let him take that jump shot to win the game because we feel pretty good about it. That's the most disrespectful thing I've ever heard for an MVP ever. Another player on the other team saying, like, yeah, the best player on the team, go ahead, let him shoot it. I think we feel like we're in a good spot.
Don't get me don't get me going because last year he took my guy's hardware last year. Like he was not the MVP of the league last year. Like he was not. But like I think again, man, Giannis is obviously a talent in himself, man. Just with what it is that he does, but he can't shoot. He can't shoot a jump shot. Like he can't.
He's working on that three. He's working on it.
Yeah.
But
I think that's the flaw in his game, and like it is what it is. But like if we look at, to your point, like if we look at everybody else that's on this list, I think obviously Jason Tatum, like there's he's got a great argument, for that third spot in the front court. Domantas Sabonis has got a great argument for that. He's got a great argument for that spot. Bam Adebayo, like he's got one. And even if you really wanted to be disgustingly gross and get dirty like we do here at Dirty Fantasy Sports, Julius Randle definitely has a case.
He does.
To be an all-star. He definitely has a case to be an all-star. But I mean, for me, and this is who I voted for. I voted KD, Embiid, and JT were my votes.
Cool. I obviously have been voting for Randall just because I want him to get in. Another one on this list too that I absolutely love and would love to see make the team is Grant, Jeremy Grant. I think he's just been ridiculous. One that I don't think gets any love, who's been playing crazy good. Mind you, I wouldn't vote him in. Is Gordon Hayward.
That's my DFS gold right there, baby. That's one of my favorite plays every night is Gordon and Jeremy, man.
Great.
Like, I love those guys, dude. Love them.
And then the other one that he won't make it, but he definitely won't get starter, is Vucevic, who is playing. He's basically the only player worthwhile on the Magic. Everybody else is pretty much should be playing in the bubble for the.
They're dead, or they don't have an ACL, or they're growing off the bone, or like dude, like freaking who was it? Frank Mason the other night, bro. He got hurt in warm ups and he's 42% owned. It's like, come on,
dude,
bro.
It's Vucevic and the G League All Stars. That's
basically
what they are.
It is, man.
So
oh my god.
What he's doing, with nobody around him, 24 points a game, 3.5 assists, 11.5 rebounds, and 46% field goal percentage. That's pretty damn good, man. That's pretty damn good. I think for this case, we probably should check the box for Giannis. We know he's going to get there. He's going to be the guy. I mean, his numbers are good, right? 28 points a game, 5 assists a game, 11 rebounds, and 53% field goal percentage somehow, basically because 90% of his shots are dunks.
The wing Shaq, the wing version of Shaq, baby.
That's it.
The wing version of Shaq.
And then we can get into but here's the thing, like I think you got Tatum, Randall, Grant, which that's when they go to do reserves. That's tough, man.
Oh yeah.
That is.
That is because somebody is gonna get snubbed that A, plays on a winning team more likely than not. B, that it's gonna have so they're either gonna play for a winning team and have the numbers, or either they're gonna have the numbers and not play for a winning team, and that's gonna be a hard one to swallow for sure.
I think next week we do the reserves. I like that. I like that idea for sure. We won't pick anybody that we picked this week, and next week we'll do reserves. Now we get to talk about the starting guards. This is so much fun on the East. I'm going to start off by saying we're not putting Kyrie Irving anywhere near there. I'm just going to put it out there because I'll shed tears. I can't stand this guy. He goes AWOL. He's barely played. When he does play, he's half injured because he says he's injured. He's burning sage before games. No, this guy does not deserve to be a starting all-star this year at all. I understand he's talented. He's got nasty handles. He can do layups from any direction, doing yoga in the air and shit. I get it.
Yep.
Not a starting all-star this year. Just throwing it out there. Because here's, and I'm gonna make it easy on you. I'll make it really easy on you, because there's two guys that I know you love just as much as I do.
Absolutely.
Real deal, Bradley Beal.
Yes, sir.
And Jaylen Brown.
Yes.
That both have outperformed Irving hands down this year and played for their teams every minute they could, with the exception of last night. Bradley Beal took the night off with a zipper mask. I don't know what that was. That fashion statement wasn't working though. But like, those guys would deserve it any day over Irving, in my opinion. I'll let you go now.
Yeah, I still think this is and like, you know, we were texting back and forth when Kyrie when he went AWOL, and you know, I said, well, hold on, because he always has an angle for stuff. Not that I always agree, not that I always like it, but he always has an angle. And, you know, his angle was that, you know, hey, he needed, you know, the mental break, whatever. And now he's been hooping since then. I'm not a fan of the fact that he left his team out there to dry like that, for sure. So I'll leave it at that. If we're just looking strictly at talent, and just talent alone, yeah, for sure. But taking into consideration, you know, all the other variables, you know, in that situation, I agree with you 100%. I think Bradley Beal is a starter based on principle alone. The fact that he's basically wasting, you know, some of his best years in Washington. The guy's leading the league in scoring at over 33 a game. And I think anytime you're leading the league in scoring, it's almost a given. You have to be a starter. And I think Jaylen Brown, had, you know, is really, really shown, you know, the maturity on the defensive end, and then offensively, his game has grown even more, you know, than what it did last year. And I think it's evident. So I'm 100% cool with the fact that, hey, you know, we go Bradley Beal and we go Jaylen Brown for those two starters. I think it's well deserved. I think they're two young guys that definitely need to have that love. And then, you know, you look at the rest of the group, to look at the rest of the group, it's tough, because you got a former league MVP. You got a former league MVP. You got Zach LaVine. If he played on any other team other than the Bull, he's basically like last year's version of Bradley Beal, basically.
That's my dude right there. I have voted for him. I vote for him and Bradley Beal every time I vote. And I really want him to go to the Knicks. Something awful. Like, if I can get the NBA gods to shine on me, that's where I want him to go. But I will concede to Brown, because he's been unreal for the Celtics with Tatum being out as much as he has. Jaylen Brown's been unbelievable. Like, he's been crazy. But yeah, no, you're right. You're exactly right. Next week when we go to talk reserves, like, you can't count Harden out just because he was in the West and now he's in the East. The guy's still unbelievable. You know, he's an all-star. I mean, it is what it is. Malcolm Brogdon.
And the fact that he outsmarted everybody by wearing the fat suit in Houston was like come on.
He's doing Nutty Professor. You know that.
Service. That's what we just go to.
That's right. When he comes out, you're like, Hercules.
That's it, man. That's it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But two guys that really jump out at me on the top 10 list here, man, is Trae Young, you know, just because of namesake, and then the guy that probably should be higher than him, Freddie VanVleet, man. VanVleet. Like, oh my gosh, like,
you know who else isn't on? I don't even have him on here, but let's see if I scroll that. Who doesn't get any love is Middleton. Is another one.
Yeah, he'll be there. Yeah.
Oh my God, that guy. He. Yeah, you're right about VanVleet. He's filthy too. But yeah, like there's a lot of guys that the reserves for the East is going to be a lot of fun, because there's a lot of dudes that are balling out this year that in the past they didn't. So yeah.
And then you see Russell Westbrook here, and like, dude, I probably until last year was when I probably got off the Russ train, because before that, dude, I loved everything. I was like, man, this guy, man, he plays hard. Like he competes, and then like as I'm sitting here watching him last year in the bubble, after I had a conversation with somebody, and they're like, "You really would want this guy on your team? Like you would really want this guy on your team? Like look at this, look at that, look at this." And I'm like, okay, okay,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, no. And I think now it just really has put the icing on the cake that, hey, you can go play with, Bradley Beal and right now the team is just yuck, and he's there.
Yeah.
And it's yeah. So I'm not on the Russell Westbrook train anymore. I'm off of it, man. So just had to put that out there.
No, I you know what? I do love Russ, but he's having one rough year this year for sure. Except, did you see him dancing last night? Did you get?
No, I did not. No,
you didn't see him dancing?
No.
Oh man, they had a game break because of a shot clock error, and they went over and he was just dancing away on the sideline for a good 30 seconds to a minute. Just, I don't know what he was listening to because there's no music going on in there, but he had
He's like that.
They did play the Knicks, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. And he had himself a game last night too.
Yeah, he did. He played all right. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, so we're on transition over to some Top Shot.
Yeah, and I got a nice transition on Top Shot too as we get ready to go over that way. My guy was like, "Yo," he's like, "Hey man," he's like, "These Russell Westbrooks, from Top Shot." I'm like, bro, I am not buying any Russell Westbrook Top Shots because he sucks right now. Like he is stinking the place up. Like I know he had a good game last night and it was against the Knicks, but like no, like I'm not doing it. So like yeah. That's the transition in the Top Shot. No Russell Westbrook Top Shot for me, man. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, that I don't think I have any Westbrooks.
No.
Oh, I mean,
dude,
I don't know.
And that's a shock. That's a shocker if you don't have any, because there's got to be some value there behind Russell Westbrook Top Shots for sure.
Yeah, I don't have any. I got a lot now though. I told you my strategy that I was running with.
Yep.
I got my guys up here. I just got a Jordan Clarkson, Lonnie Walker, Robinson Barrett, Dinwiddie, Wiggins, Wood, Baisley, Nunn. I got a Bradley Beal, Bismack, Jeremy Grant, Porter, Alexander. I got all these guys I got for $1.
Yeah.
I
like that one. Yeah.
I've just been grinding them out. The ones I wanted to show you, they aren't up here yet. Let me see here. I just got that, the gift came out. Here they are. I don't know if you can see my screen. I bought all of them. I got all the gifts. All of them.
Man.
There's Donovan Mitchell we talked about, right?
Yeah.
He's got one on there. Pretty nasty assist. He drives in, kicks it out to Ingles. It's a really nice play.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
That one's pretty good. Let's see here. What's the other one that we got? I'm pulling them up on the screen so everyone can see. We got the Jimmy Butler. He's doing a nice little layup.
Jimmy buckets.
And he's wearing the that tie-dyed funky Miami flair there that they got in the cities.
No, get it right. The Miami Knights. Miami Knights, baby.
The Miami Knights jersey. Yeah, that's what he's got on there. It's a nice little one there too. Yeah. Let's see. The next one that we got on here is Hachimura doing a little layup for the Bullets. I mean the Wizards. They're not the Bullets anymore. I just dated myself a little bit.
They playing like the Bullets hell. No, they playing like the Bullets hell.
They are. That's true. That's true. But yeah, they got him doing a little nice little layup. And then we got my man D. Russ with the Timberwolves. He's doing a little layup here. That one's not too bad. Not too bad.
D-Lo.
And
that got stunk this year too, man.
He has not played good. And then the final one is a nice little C.J. McCollum jump shot that came out. And I love CJ too. I was really happy. Most of the gifts are guys I like. They're players that I actually like. But The whole reason I went and got all of them, because you know me, I always wait for a bargain. But I had to go get them all because the D Rose. If you get all 5, you get all 5, and you get this beautiful D Rose, and I think I can actually play the piece. And I was watching this game. This was just the other night. He's got a nice no-look pass to Obi Toppin for a jam, and that is the collectible that you get if you have all of them. So I was like, if there's ever a time when I'm going to have to go and try and get all of them to get the collectible, this is it.
Justifiably
Gotta
so.
do it.
Justifiably so for you. And you're like, yo, I got the gift. I'm like, you already got the pack already. I'm like, I just put in to get it. He's like, no, I got them. Like, I got them all individually. I'm like, wow.
I couldn't.
Wow.
Yeah, went for broke, man. Went for broke. I was like, I got to do it. It doesn't happen often. And I will say that was a painful game anyway because the Knicks ended up losing that game, which was awful because all it was RJ didn't dunk it. He did a weak-ass layup instead when he should have went to the hole. And the guy's left-handed, and he's doing a left-hand. He's laying it up. I'm like, dude, nobody's there. Just dunk the ball. Like, what are you doing? He had Butler on him, so I think he got a little intimidated. But
this reminds me of a time that we were out. We were watching the Duke game. I just thought about this now. We were watching the Duke game, and you were like, I think R.J. Barrett's ceiling is probably higher than Zion Williamson's. And, like, he might end up being a better player. And I was like, I don't know about that one, man. And then, lo and behold, R.J. Barrett lands with the Knicks. And now it's miserable.
Well, and truth be told, if I want to throw it out there, if I'm going to be totally transparent about this, I actually thought Cam Reddish was going to be the best out of the 3. Just because of his build and he could shoot and he played D, I was like, oh, he's going to be really solid. Zion's been great this year. He's another one that probably deserves to go to the All-Star game, just for consistency. I mean, in the paint. Last night,
he's a dog. He's a dog down there for sure.
I was watching the game. I think he had 14 of 14 in the paint. I don't even know. He was about to break the record.
No. Yeah, no, he was a dog down there last night. I caught some of it. He was a dog down there
filthy.
For sure.
But I still don't think. I think he's going to end up like Sean Kemp. I don't think his body's going to be able to make it.
Yeah, no.
His whole career, he's just too big.
Yeah, but those guys, you never know, like with the league, like sometimes, like Christian Wood's a great example. Like sometimes you got to be in the right place, the right situation to get the minutes to show, that you can't do that. So like, I don't think we can definitely write any of those guys off yet. But I just, you were just ranting, and it just reminded me. I was like, oh, I remember that.
You've heard this rant before. Yeah.
Oh, man.
RJ's been playing great this year. He really has. He's been playing really solid. The problem is that he just doesn't go to the hole with anger every time. He goes in there and he does a layup, and I'm like, dude, you can jump out the building. Why are you? And you're left-handed. Nobody knows how to guard left-handed guys. Like, just dunk the ball.
It's grown man league.
Yeah,
it's grown man league, man.
Grown man. Last night, someone must have yelled at him from that game too, because the first 2 times he ran to the hole, he was going with anger. He tried to dunk it. One time he tried to dunk it from the damn free throw line, and he got fouled, thankfully, because he wasn't even close to making that.
It wasn't going down. It wasn't going down.
No.
Yeah. No. I haven't jumped on any Top Shots. I've been waiting. I stayed up till I can't remember what night it was. Maybe it was Monday. Maybe they had a drop on Monday or Thursday. They had a drop. One of those nights they had a drop. I got in line, and you text me like, hey, like, did you get them? Like, like I don't think I'm going to. And actually, I ended up to try to play some of these late slates, which I haven't been doing, but I was playing some late slates, and I was just kind of spent, and I was in line, and the next thing I know, I woke up, and my guy was like, "Oh man," he's like, "I got the packs," and you were like, "No, like they sold out." I'm like, I can't do this to my life. I'm like, I just can't. Like it's killing me. Like it's killing me. It's killing me. I'm getting 6 hours of sleep trying to get fucking Top Shot, So yeah. But like, hey, the Valentine's Day package. Hopefully tomorrow, man. Hopefully, that's worth something tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, I was able the other night. They did 3 drops. I didn't know they were going to do 3 drops. It was during the stress test. They did. I was in it for the first 2. I ended up getting 1 pack out of those first 2, and East Coast. I fell asleep before the third one, so I never even was in it for the third pack drop.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was like,
No, my
damn.
God. No, my God. My God. He's like, yo, I was up till 1:30. I'm like, and he's like one of them, like, he's up till 1:30, and then, he goes to the gym after work. I'm like, man, maybe I need to start going to the gym so I can get top shot. Like, man, that's what I need, man. Yeah. So I haven't. But that bowl that you sent me, man. I definitely was sleeping on that one for sure. Just trying to get my lineups in for the Super Bowl and stuff or whatever. And just actually real quick on that one. The thought crossed my mind, and I was like, what an idiotic thought. Like, to sit here and be like, let me just go all Tampa Bay. What an idiotic thought.
Yeah. Oh man. That was. How did you do on that?
I got up by 100. I got up by $100 because I did have some Gronkowskis. I did have some Gronkowskis there, and then I threw one dart in the Millie Maker, and I had Tom Brady in the MVP spot in that one. And of course, the one play that really just drove me nuts was the one where the tackle dropped the touchdown.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, nobody else would have that unless you had Tom Brady there. And he was like, I think it was like maybe 20% on in that same lineup. I had Brady, I had Gronk, I had Goodwin, I had Kelsey, and I had Lynn Fournette in that lineup. So it was, so that lineup, it cashed. But really, man, I was an Antonio Brown away from really having a pretty nice day. In that, and obviously after Antonio Brown caught that touchdown, I'm like, please God, don't let it be an Antonio Brown game. Just whatever, please God, I can't deal with that.
I was doing pretty good. If I would have flip flopped Mahomes and Brady, I would have won some money. Because I had Gronk, I had Kelsey, and I was doing pretty good. I had a nice little run there, but it's just I had Mahomes in the MVP spot that killed it. Like you weren't making anything.
But what's funny about that though? Go ahead, man.
Oh no, I was going to transition back to that bowl, but go ahead. You good? What was you going to ask about?
No,
that?
I was just going to say, just real quick. That's the reason why, I always talk about leverage is because a lot of the things that I had watched, they were all make sure only play Mahomes in the MVP spot, don't play him in the flex. It's a waste. That's why, the people that are out there, that are listening, if we do get anybody, that's why, you want to try to be different is because, a lot of people go in that direction, and that's how you end up winning tournaments is just by being a little bit different. So,
just switching it around. I just had, I knew he was going to be running, which they said he ran 497 yards. I just didn't think he'd be running backwards the whole time. I thought he'd be running running away from the defense and running forward. So that's why I played Mahomes. They just, and remember we talked about it. And I was like, I just don't know how they're gonna do against Shaq and the boys. I was like,
you called that one,
man, and they did. They came out and that was scary. Back to that bowl you're talking that I sent you earlier. Yeah. I wish I would have jumped on that one too. Because that it's a small number that's available. I think there's only 207. No, it's $4.99 is the whole edition.
It's 500, yeah.
And it was selling under 150. It's already the lowest you can get now is 199. So it's already had a jump of a $50 value just in 3 days that from when we saw it. And that's where I've done a lot of research here lately on these things because that's all I pretty much do is I'm watching basketball and playing through and going through my top shots. I'm really looking at the addition numbers. Addition size, these $4.99. If you can get them into the additions of 250 or below, even 275. If we look at it from a cryptocurrency standpoint, not basketball standpoint, or talent-wise on players, just cryptocurrency standpoint of perspective of looking at it, 275 below, that means there's only 275 of those in the whole world ever that are going to be mined. Ever. 250 especially. Like, long-term value, whether it's a shitty player or not, like, that's a very limited piece. So the value of that will only increase. It can only increase because you're never going to get any more. And I bring up that 250 mark because there is a series. Let me see if I can find it real quick. If you look under, and it is all block shots. It's a really boring series to look at.
Yeah.
Or set. But that set, every single one of them is 250 or less. And they, gosh darn it, where the hell is this thing? Let me look up by tier. I'll find it real quick. Every one of them that's in there in that set too is in a range right now where you can get them like I've seen a couple for like 150, 140. Let's see here. I'm pulling them up right now. Because I was looking through it, I'm like, hey, I know that. That doesn't look too bad. There was a Valanciunas the other day. It was like $130, but it's a block, so it's a super boring.
Balling. Yeah, but he's balling now, though, man. So like, like
there it is.
A good one, man. A good one to
Yeah. For sure. So I got this one up there. It's the series. It's called Denied. It's in Series 1. This one's a Valanciunas. The lowest price on it's $155 right now, and it's the serial number on it's 203. And there's only 250 ever made. Like that is a good long-term value from a cryptocurrency standpoint of it, which I don't think a lot of people are hitting it from that mark yet, of looking at this from long-term cryptocurrency, how many of these get mined and that type of standpoint. That's kind of like where I've switched. I'll buy up every $1 one I see because the value on it is ridiculous. Really $2 and under, if you can get any of them for $2 and under, that's a steal. Because you're looking at it at that point of a pack is $9. 3 come in a pack. So anything under $3, you can turn around and resell it.
Yeah, and for me, the thing, for me, it kind of just along this process, and this is what happened is when you hit me with that Bobo, and I was like, and then I was like, oh, well, let me just check it out. And you're like, you're late, it's gone. I was like, damn. And then at that moment, because I'm looking at trying to get the guys that I'm like, oh, well, hey, higher upside, or hey, they got a shot down the road, as opposed to looking at the actual number. And I do pay attention to the number, and I have paid attention to the number, but I've been more concerned about the actual player and the talent and things like that, as opposed to oh, well, hey, even if it's, to your point, if it's a shitty player, a perceived shitty player, and hey, what that crypto value is down the road. That's something that after that Bobo card, I was like, I missed the boat on that one. Yeah, I missed the boat. Man. So it's definitely changed the way, for me, just in terms of looking at them like that. So I'm in on it.
Yeah, we'll have to start looking at these series. All right, so you want to open one of these packs before we wrap this up?
Let's get it, man.
Let's try it out. Now I saw we had one viewer, and I made the promise if we had at least a half a viewer, I was gonna open a pack.
Shout out to whoever got on here, man.
Yeah. I got 4 unopened, and so what we'll do is each time, I don't know how to even open these damn things. I've never done it before. All right, do we want to open from release? Oh shit, I got the gift. I think we opened the gift, man.
You got to open the gift. Now I'm going to check my email to see if I got it.
I got to open the gift. I'm not
that lucky.
Got to open the gift.
Yeah.
Oh man,
no,
all right.
I don't have the gift yet.
All right, you ready? I've never done this. Like, if I hit open, does it just open it? I've never done this before. This is exciting for me.
Like, what happens is it like you open it and then like when you go into like your cards, it'll show what you got there.
Oh, dude, it's over here. It's jiggling. It's shaking. We get a little shake to it. Got a little jiggle. Oh man, woo! Tease me a little, pack.
Dirty.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna push that button. It's teasing me. Open the pack. Oh damn! What's this? TopShot tips. The rookie debut series set will eventually include every TopShot play from a rookie year. Breaking news. Like, why is it telling me all this shit? Just open this pack. Breaking news.
Just open the damn pack. You know I've been waiting.
Oh, shit. Oh, there we go. It says click to reveal. Bro, I already clicked this like 8 times. Why gotta click it again? All right, here we go.
This is the story of your life with TopShot right here.
Oh, we got a Jimmy Butler. Uh-oh.
Another one.
Yeah, I'll take a duplicate. Yeah. Ooh. There we go. I do like this play, the Jimmy Butler. All right, it's pretty high number. The serial is pretty high. 7,413 out of 888. But that's still pretty good. I'll take a Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Dude, the Jimmy Butlers, those were selling
for bubble hero.
Oh, and just on the side of the Jimmy Butlers, they were selling upwards of $80, dude. They were really hard to get. Like out the gate, they when I first went on there, this is why I felt so stupid too. When I first went on there, they all 5 were like $50 or less. And I was like, maybe I'll buy them, maybe I won't. And as I'm looking at it, I saw D'Angelo Russell. I was like, I'm at least gonna get that one, because I was like, I'll wait till I see which one I get, and then I'll buy the other ones. Well, then as I'm doing it, they go from 50 to 55 to 60 to 70, and I'm
That's
like,
how it happens, bro.
I was like, whoa, don't let this get out of hand. So then I'm scrambling, trying to figure out like, how am I gonna get these things out before they get too crazy. I was like, all right, I'll do a deposit on my Dapper. I was like, I'm gonna buy all as low as I can right now, because I know there's only set amount. They'll go for at least $100 after. I'm like, that's fine. I'll and then whatever I get for the gift, like I just got Jimmy Butler, I'll pick between the 2 Jimmy Butlers. Whatever one has the lowest serial number, that one stays. The other one goes, and then I'm good. But I was like, whew. All right, hey, man, I'm no longer a pack virgin. I popped that chair right there.
Pop it right here. Busted it open right here, man.
I got Jimmy Butler 2 times like I'm Selena Gomez. It's pretty good. Right? That just happened.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it, man.
We'll take it. All right, cool, man. Well, I think that's a pretty good run, good show. We hit some hot topics there. For the viewers, if anyone's watching this on replay, we do this every week, usually on Saturdays. So if you want to chat with us, ask us questions during the actual thing, jump on and shoot us a message. You can hit us up at our email too. I don't even have it on the screen. I'll add that later. But info@dirtyfantasysports.com if you ever want to shoot us a message, or for sponsorships, fun stuff like that. But we'll be doing this. Thanks everybody, and Mr. Johnny, good luck tonight, sir.
Hey, I appreciate it, bro. Good luck to you as well, man.
Talk to you later.